So these are going to be meant for, this pipeline option is going to be meant for smaller agencies, maybe agencies that have the time to be a little bit more hands-on as well, and don't build anything into the pipeline. Option B is going to have more automations built in, I believe. Let's double check on that. To send out to your prospects. So you can take your pick between option A, option B, and review the automations if you'd like to see which one you would prefer. The other one, you can click on the trash can and delete it if you don't need it, or you can leave it there. Or there's also an option to, as an admin, you have the option to disable the pipeline. So let's go through this step by step. So from the pipeline view, you'll find it on the left-hand side, the 3 little lines. For the new business pipeline, first you'll get a prospect or a lead in. Once you've made contact with the prospect, you can move it to contact made, info received. You're gathering the information at this point and sending out a quote. Once you have sent out that quote to the prospect, you can move them to quote sent. In each of these stages, follow-up emails will go out to the contacts to follow up with them, and so that they know that you're working with them. And you don't have to call them or send emails manually because of that, because everything's going on in the background. Pending quote response. So once you've presented the quote to them and they said, oh, you know what, I'm thinking about it, or you have to make a couple adjustments, you can move them to pending quote response. If they say yes, you can move them to waiting to finalize. And once
would you mind, Victoria, adding a card and then move it? So probably they will get a better perspective.
Let's go ahead and create a card. And then issue policies here. So let's go ahead and add a card. We'll make a sample one here for myself. So whenever you're adding a card, you have the option for private or shared board. For these 2 pipelines, it is going to be private deal boards. So that means that only the agents assigned to the cards can see those cards. So if I'm adding a card, I have the option to make it personal, commercial, benefit, life, or health. The difference between the 2, you have to understand that there's accounts and contacts in the system. Accounts are going to be the head of the household if it's personal lines. So that contact name that you initially put in, that's going to be the head of the household, and they're going to be the primary on the account and the primary contact under that account. So commercial lines,
you can have one account and which can have multiple contacts.
Exactly. And so commercial lines, the account name, rather than being the primary in the household, it's a commercial lines, it's a business. So that's going to be the business name. And then every individual contact will be added under that business. So everybody that you speak to at that business, the account, you'll enter as a contact. So if I were to enter myself in, let me go ahead and put Victoria, or let's go ahead and do it as commercial. So business name, InsuredMine. Since it's not in the system, I can create a new InsuredMine, and it's going to ask me for the business email and the business phone number. So right now we're just going to put support@insuredmine.com for the email, and then the contact name. Who do I speak to at InsuredMine? So that's Victoria Smith. Contact email will be my personal email at InsuredMine. Contact mobile. And then where do I want to put them? So here I have them in the pipeline option A, TWFG new business. I don't have to put them into the prospect lead pipeline. If I'm speaking to them on the phone, I've already made contact to them. So I can move them directly into the contact made stage or add them directly there. The deal title is going to match the business name or the account name. And then the assigned agent right here, I have Catherine Nolan. If I needed to change it, I can change it to another assigned agent, or I can add multiple if I needed to. Since it's a private pipeline, remember that only the assigned agent will be able to see the cards on the pipeline. Deal category, here I can select multiple deal categories or lines of business that they're interested in quoting. Deal health, you can label it as hot, warm, cool, or cold. I can add the lead source. If I call it in, we'll go ahead and say call in as a lead source. If it's not an option here, you can type to search in any of these areas too, by the way. So you can do walk-in or renewal. You can type and they'll populate. If you don't have the lead source that you like, you can add a new source. here. Due date. When do I want to quote this policy by? For example, I can do August 10th. Or expected closing date. I can set it the same, or I can put it further out in the future. So if I want to quote it by August 10th, and then I plan on closing by the 17th, I'll enter that.
Oh, that's aggressive, but that's okay.
What do you mean by that, Rashid?
Like you are looking to close it within a week. That's good.
So then we can go ahead and save this deal card. So when the deal card's saved, it's going to populate into my pipeline. I want it to hurry, so I'm going to hit refresh up here.
But
Oh, let's switch to the right person, agent. Which agent was I under? Catherine. So see, since it's a private pipeline, you can only see the deal cards under the right agent. Right now I'm in an admin account, so you can switch over to other agents to see their deal cards as well. So here's the deal card that I created, InsuredMine.
let's pause there for a couple seconds. So this is wonderful. Hey, what is a deal card? We know now it's just a contact, or it's an opportunity that we have created in the system.
And a pipeline is going to be a process that you put that contact in.
Correct. Let's take a step back. There are 10 different ways you can bring that information in. Right now, what Victoria did was she manually added all the information because somebody just called. You know, that's one way. You can send a form to somebody. They can fill a form. It will create. Carol, can you send a link to Carol? So you can do it through the forms. You can do it through Zapier. You can. So there are so many different ways how we can create a card here. But then once the card is created, it moves through the process. Go ahead. Just want to talk about there are more ways to create an opportunity or a card in the system.
Right. Sorry. So you can. So now that I have the deal card here, like Roshan said, there's multiple ways that it can get here. Since I called in, I chose to put it in the contact made stage. So here's the deal card. You can see here's where I put the deal health as warm. Here's the assigned agents that you can hover over, the due date, the expected closing date. I can also send emails directly from the quick view of the deal cards. I can review tasks if there were tasks attached here. Right now, since no tasks are found, it'll appear as yellow. If a task is due in the future, it'll appear as green. If it's past due, it'll appear as red. And if it's due today, it appears as gray. So there's multiple ways that you can review, or you'll notice that you can see it differently here. You can also, by any of this information that you see on the deal card that we've entered, we have a filter button. So you can click on the filter button. You can filter if it weren't a private pipeline, if it were shared.
Let's not go into that much detail. You know, they can come back to learn the depth. Let's understand why, once we have the deal card, why do we need, where is it, and how does it move from left to right? Okay.
So here's the deal card. There's a couple ways to view the deal card. If you want a quick view, you click anywhere on the deal card and it opens up this quick view for you. From this view, you can see the premium, the revenue, the source, call in the deal category. So you can see all this information here. If I were to move it from one stage to another, I can do that here. Just by clicking on the stage and it'll move. Another way to do it is by clicking the deal card and dragging to one stage and letting go. And then another way to do it is by clicking on the main view of the deal card. So the main view of the deal card, you can get to two different ways. You can click on view details, or you can click on the name of the deal card to open it up. Here, I can also toggle back and forth between stages. So if I move a deal card from one stage to another, whether this way or any other way, it's going to ask me a question if the automations are turned on. So that question that it answered me, let me make sure they're turned on first. 1 second. Let's activate this. So the question that it's going to ask me is if I want to begin the automations for these stages. So here I can see exactly what's going on in this stage. I have an email that's going out immediately. 241, as soon as I release it into the stage, I have a task that's going to be due in a couple of days from now. on the 7th, and then after a few days, it's going to be marked as lost. If I don't want one of these automations to go out, or I can just toggle it off, so I don't have to worry about it. For now, I'm going to hit apply. And these automations are set on the contact made stage. So if I move it from one stage to the next stage, up at the top, the default is to stop prior automation. So it'll stop all the automation that was in the previous stage, and it'll show you here, these are the automations for the new stage that can go out. This is useful because if, go ahead and hit apply. If I've already made contact with somebody, I don't need to keep sending them information requesting or emails requesting more information in order to send them a quote. I can move them directly to the next stage in the process that they're in. Another way to stop automations is if you click on the deal card, you can review your automations here from the deal card. If I click on automations, you can stop them manually at that point, if I forgot to do that. So that is the process on moving the deal cards from one stage to another, and also handling the automations. And so automations have to be built out in the background by admins. To do so in the pipeline, you would click on the big 3 dots, so the dots in the top right corner, and go to automations. Here you can also review whether you're an admin or an agent. Only admins can edit these, but you would be able to review these as an agent to see what happens in each stage in case your agents are interested to know that. So here in the prospect lead stage.
Victoria, I presume for all the TWFG agencies, this pipeline is already preset, which means they have the stages defined, all the automations pre-built. It's just for them to first walk into this pipeline, understand everything that exists, and just get going.
Exactly. So TWFG has created the process for new business, and I know that they're going to keep creating other processes as well. Sharnay, do you know which ones we're working on next?
We're currently working on renewal, and launch date is before the end of August currently.
For the renewal process.
Correct.
So, couple quick questions, I'll take from here. So Jeff asked, is that deal card going to show up in Evo? So technically Evo does not have a design where the deal card can sit, but what it does is it will create a contact in Evo. So you are not to recreate that contact in Evo. And then once you are creating all this text message or all these activities, that is syncing with Evo. So your system of record is still Evo. This is just all the fancy things happening here and moving over there.
Right.
I think that sync is pretty much real time. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
5 to 10 minutes at least.
At most. And Jeff, does that answer your question on double efforts? I'll launch a quick poll asking you guys, how do you think this will help expedite your sales process? Having a pipeline. All right, almost 90% of folks saying that yes, it will. That's a pretty good confirmation. I'll take a couple more questions on the chat here. So automations are driven by the pipeline entries, correct? The short answer is yes. Automations are driven by triggers, and there can be 6 to 10 different triggers that we have built, which you can look at, and probably you can open up those 3 dots. Victoria, on what are those triggers that triggers the automation? Next question is, so if we updated a client info in InsuredMine, like a birthday email, will those change transfer to Evo? Sharnay, Victoria, does that go to Evo?
Let me see the question. What was the question again, Roshan?
If we update the birthday email or phone number, where will that go? Will that update it in Evo?
Yes, because clients contacts communicate back and forth between InsuredMine and Evo.
Awesome. All right. I'm sharing the result. As you guys can see, 39 out of 43 already said, just 60% participated, and 91% thinks this is going to help. Guys, I want to see you guys day in and day out in this pipeline. Trust me, that's going to change how you do business. Next question is, I have to maintain Evo and the pipeline. The answer is yes. What we recommend is basically you should have your agency should have 2 screens. InsuredMine on one, Evo on another. And I was talking to Akram this morning, and that's what these guys do. They're always in sync, but a lot of things are happening in InsuredMine, and it's going to reflect in Evo. But hey, you want to have both. Roshan, you mentioned the 3 dots to start automation or for the triggers. Victoria, can we go there? So 3 dots automation. So here is a sequence of automation, as you can see here. So we are in this one stage, and within that stage, all of these things are happening. And if she clicks on the next stage, then there is all of this in the next stage. So every stage has a set of automations fit in. Now open one of these. Can you please edit one of these automations? Add new automation stage or something. Because I want to show them the triggers. Here are guys. So here are all the triggers. For email, you want to send them email. It can be based on, hey, to whom and what. If you're sending text message, so all of these triggers can be, these are actually not the triggers in a way, but these are the things you can do. And for each of them, based on what stage you are in, why you want to send, all of those can be set up.
So I think triggers, where we're getting confused with triggers, maybe in that wording, I think where it came from is one of our previous meetings too. We went over engagement and workflow automations. And so workflow automations are different than pipeline automations, where those are based off of the trigger on the contacts or the account. So it's based off of effective date of a policy, for example, the contact's birthday or the expiration date of a policy. So those are triggers for automations that can be done in background, like Roshan mentioned for happy birthday. So here in pipeline, the trigger for these really is the stage. It's based on when you move it into that stage. That's what triggers all these automations to be sent out. But these are the different options that you have to build out automations in those stage.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So we'll pause here. We want to take some questions. What other questions? So we understand at a very high level, what does new business pipeline looks like? It starts with getting a lead in, create a deal card. That card is syncing with your Evo. That card keeps moving from one stage to another. And there are automation to send them reminders, send them text messages, send them email, create a task for yourself, or all of these things are happening, and you're continuing to move. As you continue to move, you get to the end of it where you mark it win or loss, and then you see the wonderful analytics of what you have done. So that's in a nutshell is what a new business looks like. I'll pause there. We'll take questions. What more you want to learn today? Let's start with Brad. So what happens when a deal is lost? Like we don't sell them new business, or I practice sending myself a text to my cell phone number. I got a text replied from my phone, but it did not get any notification on my InsuredMine that I got a text. You guys want to talk about the notifications a little bit?
Can you share, Victoria, how to turn on the notifications, the text notifications?
For text messaging?
Yes. Pipeline settings. So you have to, again, go to the 3 dots in your pipeline and then click pipeline settings. And Victoria.
And here you can check to see if the notifications are turned on. So you can subscribe to specific pipelines for notifications. Each agent can do that. Let me see, for incoming text notifications, this one right here is the one that you would be interested in. Incoming text notifications notify users by email for incoming text. If you want to send an email to the agent, you can do that, or you can send an email notification to a specific email address. I think you mean more that not rather than the notification, you didn't receive the text message. Is that correct? Heather? So to view the emails or the text message, you won't view them in notifications here. You have to go to your settings. Make sure you have your text message feature turned on. So you'll have to be connected, I believe, with Twilio for TWFG. Is that correct, Montserrat?
Yeah, depends
So-
on the agency. If they have Ring Central or Lightspeed, they connect with those providers. But if they want Twilio, we can give it a number.
Okay, and so this account doesn't have it connected, so we can't view it up at the top, but there should be a little phone icon at the top. Are you able to view that, Heather? But that's where you would view the text messages, where they would come in.
Yep. All right, we are heading to the top of the hour, 8 more minutes. We have a couple more things to cover, but while we go through that, guys, what would be the next topic that you guys would like to attend? Is this helping? You know, I'll also launch a quick poll to hear, do you think is this session helping? Probably, how often do we do this webinar, Montserrat?
Every 2 weeks.
Kind of 2 weeks or monthly. So in 2 weeks, no, I mean, next week, we are going to have a e-signature and forms. We're going to talk about that. And
Awesome. What we
in
want next is we use texting and InsuredMine every day. Works great. Thanks, Akram. This is helpful. So folks who are saying it's kind of helpful, please share more about how we could have, what we could have done more to make it even more helpful. I hear Elsa's comment on, you know, doing real life scenario. So what I would recommend, the next session, we have a couple of power users of TWFG, and we will invite them to share how they are using, like just today, this morning, I saw from a couple of them how they're using marketing. Man, I was blown away of some of the things these guys are doing. Great idea. Thank you. And then with Akram, man, this guy has just nailed down the renewal process. You guys have to see how his assembly line is working. It is humming. So you want to see some of those. Again, this is just a new way of doing business. We have to think a little bit different. And Rob, Roshan back and forth with Victoria and Sharne was very helpful. Oh, welcome, Rob. Thank you for, you know, again, I think this interaction helps to step up the clarity of some of the things rather than just going through it. So engagement, agree. Guys, feel free to let us know anything else we can do. Will be so next session we will talk about some automations. Probably we'll talk about 3 to 4 very high level powerful automations that every agency must have. You know, like for example, number 1, and I want to hear from you guys in the chat, how many of you are sending birthday messages to your all your policyholders or just any contact in your contact book? Are you sending yes or not sending no? You know, I want to hear how many of you are sending it. Yes, we will help some of you who is saying no, but I would like to. Let's get you guys going. You know, see, these are, you know, you do not make big changes by doing big things. You make big changes by doing a lot of small things.
And what's good about the birthday automations? The birthday automations, it's very little in the system. And so TWFG even provided the birthday templates for you. So all we have to do is go into your account and set it up. And it takes 2 minutes of that.
Yep. So I would encourage Montserrat, if these guys want, I would say, let's set up another similar session next week. Same time, same day. Are you guys up for it? Yeah, let's do 45 minutes. 30 minutes is too little. 1 hour is too much. Let's do 45 minutes.
And Teresa, these sessions are recorded, so we can provide that recording to you, or we can send a link where you can find this recording.
Yeah.
yes,
Let's do a weekly cadence of this. Go ahead.
Next training, it's not going to be a signature and forms. What we are going to do, it's going to be engagement, because as you know, Lindsay from the marketing TWFG team, she always provides us monthly templates. So we're going to review how to set up your first, let's do 3 automations. That is going to be a happy birthday, welcome client, and policy renewal. And we are going to show you how to use those templates and how to start running those workflow automations. So I'm going to update the link that you have for next training, and I'm going to email you the new link, and you are going to receive the invitation.
Yep. So guys, 2 things. Just remember, next week, same time, 45 minutes. Topic will be automations, birthday automations and couple other automations that we're gonna set up. Working on my automation. Perfect. And guys, another thing, can I ask one favor from all of you? One favor. We want more and more people to join this. There are 400 plus agencies, and we want that adoption, because I have committed personally to Gordy that we will get it to a pretty decent number before the end of this year. So I want each of you to help me to get there, because obviously, some of these value people would not know until they are told. So please help us help you. The more people know, the better we can invest in this to make it even more powerful. So today we had almost close to 100 people. I want to see probably 150 to 200 people joining next week. So ask other agency in your network who are on TWFG, how can we come together and make it a really, really powerful event? So I want to see you guys next week, same time. Stay tuned. Anything else, Montserrat, before we wrap up here?
Yes.
And we got all of these chat messages, so we'll go through it again. And if there are questions that did not got answers, or if there is a request, we'll make sure we reach out to you on that. Sorry, go ahead, please.
Okay, so let me again share my screen. And okay. So we already viewed the get started. Victoria introduces the new business pipeline. So I'm going to, can you see my screen?
No.
Oh, let me stop sharing.
Oh, sorry, I was talking. Okay, so Victoria already presented the new business pipeline. What I'm going to ask you guys is to review your new business pipeline, to go through the pipeline and review the 2 pipelines that we set up for you, and pick the pipeline that it's close to your process, and feel free to edit those automations. And if you have any questions about how to update those automations, you have Kunal and Sharnet that after this meeting, they are going to connect with you and send you the meeting for book a meeting with them. The link to book a meeting with them. So you have the resources available that we already shared with you, that it's the certification course and training manual and the TWFG resource. So in that page, you have all of these resources. And do not forget to book your session with Sharnay or with Kunal. And I think, well, we already talked about that the next training is going to be engagement. So after engagement, we're going to do the e-signature forms and document. So guys, please feel free to send us an email. You know that we are here to help you, and happy to have new agencies connecting with us. So I'm going to leave the meeting, and you all know have Sharnay email, Victoria email, my email, support email. So we are here to help you guys. Have a good day.